By an arrangement between Mr. Lincoln and myself, we are present here today for the purpose of having a joint discussion as the representatives of the two great political parties, the state and the Union. This country was divided into two great political parties, known as the Whig and Democratic parties. The Democratic Party has proven itself to be the historic party of this nation. While the Whig and Democratic parties differed, they agreed on the great slavery question, which now agitates the Union. Up to 1853 and 54, the Whig Party and the Democratic Party both stood on the same platform with regard to the slavery question. Now, gentlemen, your black Republicans have cheered every one of those propositions. Hurrah! Hurrah! Hooray! And yet I venture to say that you cannot get Mr. Lincoln to come out and say that he is now in favor of each of them. And I quote from the platform of the Republican Party in the bargain made by Lincoln to dissolve and kill the old Whig Party and transfer its members bound hand and foot to the Abolition Party under the direction of Giddings and Fred Douglass.
I believe it is also true that when I went away to Springfield, when the convention was in session to attend court at Tazewell Country, it is true that they did not place my name, though without authority, upon the committee, and afterward wrote me to attend the meeting of the committee, but I refused to do so, and I never had anything to do with that organization. This is the plain truth about the matter and the resolutions.
Put on your specs!
I'm obliged to do so, sir. I'm an adult. I have reason to know that Judge Douglas knows that I said this. I think he has the answer here to one of my questions he has put to me. I do not mean to allow him to catechize me unless he pays for it in kind. A house divided against itself cannot stand. Does the judge say it can stand? I don't know whether he does or not. The judge does not seem to be attending me right now. But I would like to know if his opinion of the house divided against itself can stand. If he does, then there is a question of veracity, not between him and me, but between the judge and the authority of a somewhat higher character.
Then do you repudiate popular sovereignty?
I will state that I, and an able man, to watch me my understanding is that popular sovereignty has now applied to the question of slavery. This does allow the people of a territory to have slavery if they want to, but does not allow them to not have it if they do not want it.
The point I am going to remind Mr. Lincoln of this is that after I had my speech of 1854 during the fair, he gave me notice that he was going to reply to me the next day. I was sick at the time, but I stayed over in Springfield to hear his reply and to reply to him. On that day, this very convention, the resolutions adopted by which I have read was to meet in the Senate chamber.
Judge, add that I went along with them.
I will not add that because I do not know whether he did or not.
I know that he did not.
I do not know whether he knows it or not, that this is not the point, and I will yet bring him on to the question. I want to know if he should happen to be in the Senate when a state applied for admission with the Constitution acceptable to her own people, he would vote to admit the state if slavery was one of its institutions. That's the question he avoids to answer.
No, Judge.
I want to know whether the man who does not agree with them and who is afraid to avow his differences and who dodges the issue is the first, last, and only choice of the Republican Party.
What about this conspiracy?
I will not object.